In section 8.2 and 8.3, we talked about the volume of cones and spheres. And if you take a look at your reference sheets, the volume of a cone formula is down at the bottom right, and the volume of a sphere is at the bottom left. And you could utilize this worksheet on your homework, on your tests, as well as on the air test. So do not memorize these formulas. Now, if you take a look at problem number 1, it is a cone, so the volume is equal to 1/3 pi r squared, which is radius squared, times height. Now when you plug the numbers into your formula, you want to make sure you show your work on paper as well as plug them into your calculator. So I know that V for my volume is equal to the 1/3 gets dropped down, the pi gets recopied, my radius is half the length of the circle, so my radius is 2 to the second power times my height is how tall the cone is, which is 5. Now when you plug that into your calculator, you plug it in the exact way it looks. You don't need to add any multiplication signs or anything like that. So we've got 1 divided by 3 pi parentheses 2 squared parentheses 5, and we get 20.9. It does say to round to the nearest tenth, which is 20.9. Now, my units are going to be inches cubed because we're talking volume. If you take a look at number 4, I'm just going to talk about number 4 real fast. You want to find the volume of the entire figure, or they call it a composite figure. Composite figure is just made up of multiple shapes. So in order to find the volume of the entire thing, you want to take the volume of the top cone and add it to the volume of the bottom cone. And your final answer is going to be, when you do that, that will be your final answer. You can mark off number 6. You don't have to do number 6. And let's look down at number 7. So a sphere is what looks like a baseball, tennis ball, any type of a basketball. The volume for a sphere is 4/3, or 4/3 pi r to the third power. So the only number that we really have to substitute in the formula is my radius. So my volume is equal to 4/3 pi. My radius is 40. That's my radius is half of the diameter, into the third power. Plug it into your calculator the exact way that looks. So 4 divided by 3 pi parentheses 40 raised to the third power. Notice how I had to put the raised to the third power. I had to do caret 3. And that's 268,082. 268,082. And we're going to want to round correctly. So the 7 bumps the 5 to a 0.6 because this is volume, this is millimeters cubed. Please take note that in number 8, in order to use the sphere formula, you have to find the radius, and the radius is half of that diameter. Since the diameter is 34, half of 34, or 34 divided by 2, is equal to, is equal to 17. And then go ahead and plug that into the formula. Let's look at number 9. This is a composite figure, so I want to find the volume of that top half, which is the top half of a sphere. It's not the full sphere, it's only the half of it. And then I need to find the volume of that cylinder. So let's find the volume of the sphere first. And the volume of the sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed. So I'm going to plug my numbers into my formula. 4/3 pi, my radius for my circle is 3 raised to the third power. When you plug that into your calculator, you get 113.1. But that's for the volume of an entire sphere. This is only half of a sphere, or it's called a hemisphere. So you just want to make sure that you divide that number by 2. So you only have half of the volume. And when you do so, you get 56.6. Then you want to find the volume of a cylinder. The volume of a cylinder, kind of running out of room here, so I'm sorry. the volume of a cylinder is V equals pi r squared h. And like I said, you do not have to memorize this. You could just utilize your reference sheets. The volume of a cylinder is the top left corner. The numbers that we're going to plug in is going to be pi, my radius, which is 3, squared times my height of this cylinder itself is 2. And when I plug that into my calculator, I get 56.5. Now, I want to add those numbers together because I want to find the volume of the entire picture. So 56.6 plus 56.5 will give me the volume of the entire thing, which is 113.1. Now, it's coincidence that the entire sphere's volume is 113.1. So do not just, if you're ever doing a problem like this again, don't just stop at that spot right there.